This is done for beautification, but it is cutting the view. The temple you can see is Omkareshwar temple. So it is Peshwe era temple. And just when you cross this road in front of the temple, you see some tank kind of a structure. That person is doing something over there. Right, there is some kind of a dip over there. Actually, there is a live spring over there, and even today you get a very good quality water over there. You can distinctly see this as against this water. A lot of people vouch to have drank this water also without any side effects. But lot of people at least use it for washing clothes or having a bath also, who are pilgrim travelers and things like that. Actually, in Peshwe era, a lot of what they had done was they had created an underground aqueduct system for the water supply to the city, and this is somewhere connected even today to that system, and even today you are having ample of water throughout the year over. Some of these points which one can actually see, as I mentioned that this is dotted with very interesting places. Some of the places we can see. There is a bridge after this Shivaji bridge where you cross towards station side. So this is you can see a structure below this bridge. This is called Dengale Bridge. So this structure is actually the first dam built on Mutha River. This is built in again Peshwe era, earthen dam, and even today you can walk on this. Interesting thing which was a development project of that era. You can see, say, an engineering development project of those eras. You see, this is a very old map of Pune city just after the regime of Shivaji Maharaj, 1740. So Pune was even not as big as Kasbapet today. This Kasbapet area of Pune is the oldest part of the city, because Pune was actually called as a Kasba on the trade route of north to south trade route.
Okay.
And it was a place to just rest, which is called Kasba. So that became a Kasbapet area. So if you see, this is Ambil stream. These are two tributaries of feeder streams of main Mutha river. This is Nagzari stream, and you can see the location of Shaniwar Wada over here. Actually today if you see, the Ambil stream doesn't flow here, otherwise we would have got some stream over there. So what used to happen was, this Ambil stream, though it was a feeder stream, it was like a mini river. And it used to flood very heavily in every rainy season. And actually if you observe this part of Shaniwar Wada towards Bajirao Road side, this is actually Bajirao Road.
Yeah, correct.
So Bajirao Road was stream earlier. So this part which is facing Shaniwar Wada's part,
Back side of Sarasbag, right? This Ambil stream.
आत्ता तिकडनंच येतो.
तिकडनंच येते ना.
So that's what I will just show you what happened during Nanasaheb Peshwe era. This part of Shaniwar Wada which is facing Bajirao Road, if you see, it doesn't have any doors or windows. You just make this observation sometime when you go again. This is because the water used to flood this area, and this area surrounding was a very elite area, just like Luton's in Delhi
म्हणजे
nowadays.
तसं केल्यानंतर कुठल्या बाजूने गेला नाही
बाजीराव रोडवरनं आपण जातो ना,
हा
बाजीराव रोडवरून शनिवारवाडा राईट साईडला येतो
हा
आपल्याला.
बरोबर
ती साईड जर ती वॉल बघितली ना,
हा
त्याला कुठंही तुम्हाला दिसणार नाही. कारण तिथं पाणी यायचं खूप मोठ्या प्रमाणात. अँड दिस एरिया अराउंड शनिवारवाडा was a very elite area during those times. All these sardars, the big officers, they used to reside into this area. So it used to create a lot of damage every year. So during Nana Saheb Peshwe era, what they did was they diverted this stream. So this was Nagzari stream at its same location. So earlier flow was like this. This is Shaniwarwada.
करेक्ट
So from Sarasbag they diverted it,
हा
and now it meets near to this SM Joshi bridge. Vaikuntacha इथं मिळतं ते. What happened was actually two benefits. This destruction was avoided, and the city could expand here. And what happened was during that time, all the material, building material, used to be mined from this Sarasbag area. So it was a quarry, stone quarry. So it had already a dip. And because of this diversion, it got converted into a lake.
Right.
And the original temple was retained, which is called Tayatla Ganpati today.
हा
And it was actually a temple inside the lake. You had to go with a boat. Even today, if you want to go to Sarasbag, you have to walk down the steps, again climb them. So that was the actual, if you can imagine that this was total lake, and inside that lake you have this mandir. Again, a very beautiful sight it would have been if it was retained in the same form. So likewise, they had actually done, this was all done during Nana Saheb Peshwe era, and he can be really called truly the architect of modern Pune. So which really made Pune as Pune city. Because in his time only this underground aqueduct system was worked. Because of that aqueduct system, the city could further go away from the water bodies. Because earlier there was no tap water system.
You showed us that was aqueduct, right?
Which one?
The bridge one, that one. Ha, sorry, cut.
You see, if during this time, if you can see all the population was along the water bodies.
Ha.
Because there was no duct system, there was no piping system. People had to take water from the natural water bodies, so it was along feeder stream or river channel. So here also, though the city expanded, they had to have some kind of a system where the water is available to common people without traveling a distance. Otherwise it doesn't become feasible.
Yeah.
So what they did was having a dam in Katras. They put a dam, built a wall. So Katras lake, you see, there are two lakes, one inside that zoo and one is outside. And this lake was then connected to this underground aqueduct system up to Shaniwara. And that's why you get all these community tanks.
Yeah.
If you go in Sadashivpet area, Shukravarpet area, Satkoti Haud hai, Pushkarani Haud hai, Khajina Vihir hai. So almost everywhere the water was made available throughout the city. So which was really an engineering marvel of those times, considering 200 years old technology. And some researchers have actually, they had mapped this particular aqueduct, underground aqueduct system. Even today, the water is available inside, and it is quite in a pure form, even today. So, actually, we have to revive these systems.
We're not using it anymore.
We are not using this. Because that's what has happened, that what we already had, we have not maintained it properly, even though it was useful. And we create complete dependence on the dam temples, huge temples like this. One of this is actually a very beautiful structure. Uh, this is called Ghorpade Ghat. It is just after this Shivaji Bridge. From Shivaji Bridge, you can actually see below this structure. From this was demolished, actually damaged during Panshet flood in 1961. But from this structure, you can imagine how grand could be a temple above this. It was a Shiva temple. And if you see these steps, and it was a very different kind of architecture. It is not typically just a plain steps leading to the waters. It was, this is Yadav architecture. And interesting things again, you see some room kind of structure over here.
Yes. Yes.
So these were supposed to be changing rooms for people to have a swim. So thoughtfully done during that time. So again, a lot of things to visit and explore. These are actually some of the paintings done during British rule. If you see the paintings of depicting Pune city of British rule, you will find 70 to 80% paintings will have the depiction of riverside, because that was the most beautiful thing in the city, to attract the artist to put up into the painting. And there were some special purpose ghats. आपल्या इथं होता after this Omkareshwar temple, it was dedicated for cattle. गाय उतरणीचा घाट म्हणतात त्याला. कारण the cattle cannot handle the steep slopes.
Right.
So it was a gradual slope to the river. So it was reserved for cattle. So a lot of thought had gone during those times of real riverfront development. Nowadays, what we listen to riverfront development is all commercial kind of things. You know, you built monolithic concrete structures across the banks, and you create commercial spaces and things like that. But these are actually, the needs of society, which are, very creatively intricated into natural surroundings. It was not only one-way impact on the river, it was interaction. People, wanted to visit those places and things like that. Even today, if you see, just after this bridge, this is Z Bridge, what we call popularly in Pune. After Z Bridge is Lakdi Pul.
Yeah.
That was the first bridge built on Mutha River.
Okay.
And actually it was a wooden bridge that time when it was first built. Till last, if you can see, up to 60s and 70s, there was a very interesting adventure sport of Pune during monsoon season. That during monsoon season the river used to flood every year, and when it used to flood, a lot of people used to gather on this Lakdi pool, and there were some daredevils who used to jump in the flooding waters, and the bet used to be that the person who can reach Omkareshwar temple, he used to get award. His photo used to come on the front page of local newspaper because the challenge was, you can see in the patch of the river is turning like this. So it pushes the swimmer on this bank. So he has to swim across and reach here. Most of the people used to go till Sangam with the force of the water. But there were some daredevils, and who are even today living, who are in their 80s and 90s, who have done these kinds of things. But till that time also one can see that, there was a really healthy interaction with the river and the people. It was a part of social life of the people. So This is one of the very beautiful photographs of 30s. This is the Shivaji Bridge,
Okay.
the bigger one. Uh, so in this photo, the river really looks like Apsara. uh, if you see, can you locate where we are in this photograph now? This bridge was obviously not there. Can you see this temple?
Yeah.
This is where we just visited.
Visitor.
Annasai Patwardhan. This is Omkareshwar temple. And somewhere here, this bridge is there. This portion is all PMC building. So there was almost nothing on this bank. This was the lower bank, so that was easy to access the water. This is, if you see, this is a higher bank. So this is that erosion and deposition characteristic. This is the erosion side, this is the deposition side. So this is raised kind of bank. So it is difficult to have a locality over there because the water access is difficult over there. We'll just cross once again. We just covered, what was the kind of interaction till Peshwe era. And even till recently, up to 1950s and all, the whole equation actually changed after Panshet floods. One more thing just left out. I just mentioned about this Annasai Patwardhan, experimenting with many plants and creating the therapy. These are actually some of the plants which even now found in less numbers, but even today it is there. These are some of the very medicinal properties. आपण ब्राह्मी म्हणतो, ब्राह्मीचं तेल असतं.
Correct.
So this is found even today here. But then this crinum, so when it blooms, actually it creates a complete, like tulip garden. You have this kind of flowers over there. You can see a complete patch like a tulip garden over there. So many things are there, but what has happened is, you can see the river is channelized now. So because when you build the channel, the interaction of water with the river bank is cut off.
Yes, correct.
And that's why you don't get that kind of ecology required for propagation of the truly native riparian kind of vegetation. And that's why the whole ecosystem suffers. We feel that, we are trying to restrict the flow. But that creates, a very negative impact. Even whatever is coming as a feeder stream, when it is coming, actually, if it has got a good vegetation along the banks, there is an absorption of pollutants from the roots of the plants, and the main river gets a pure water. So, which is actually natural and freely available to us by nature. But we are destroying that, and we are calling it as a progress. Anyways, this Shivaji Bridge, the bigger bridge. So, this is a photograph during construction of it. In the background, you can see Shaniwar Wada. Right. And if you see this particular arch, the middle arch, is different from others. And it coincides with the gate of Shaniwar Wada.
Okay.
And this is typically, in architectural terms, it is called Adil Shahi arch, the style of the arch. As you can see, this bridge is really built, a very strong built bridge. From the photo itself, it is very clear. Massive structure. And every bridge in Pune city has two names. For example, the bridge on which we are standing, popularly known as Bal Gandharva Bridge, but it is Maharshi Vittal Ramji Shinde Bridge.
Okay.
This bridge, Shivaji Bridge, uh, 90 years back it was built new. So it was called Nawa Pul, new bridge. आजही नवा पूलच म्हणतात ते. आणि शिवाजी ब्रिजही त्याचं नाव. So this bridge, from that bridge perspective, we can actually imagine the calamity of Panshet floods. Because in today's surrounding, today's environment, it is difficult to know what was the kind of flood during that time. So what had happened was, actually the Panshet dam broke in 61. It was in July, actually mid-July, and this mid-July is the season of, almost like peak monsoon, and during that time, when the dam broke, this Khadakwasla dam had to be broken, otherwise it would have been an uncontrolled flow, uncontrolled kind of this thing. So what was the water level reached during all the water gushed? So this water level reached was above this bridge.
Above the bridge.
Above the bridge. Now, just like these steel railings, this bridge had earlier stone railings. So the stone railings got destroyed, damaged. So that was the force at that level also. So you can imagine, just we saw the 30s photograph. You can imagine water above this and the whole population here on the lower side of the. So it was unprecedented calamity for Pune city, and these are some of the pictures. This is Omkareshwar temple. So you can see one of these peaks falling down. You just mentioned. Then there is a Nandi Murti. Many of you must have seen. This is almost 4 to 5 feet tall Murti. So this was uprooted from there, and it was found near Sangam. So almost 1.5 kilometers downstream. So it was brought from there to here. This is Lakdi Pool. You can just see it is not getting identified at all. And there was, as I mentioned, there was a very big temple at this Ghorpade Ghat. And it is said that there was still bigger Nandi Murti over there, almost 6 feet plus tall Nandi Murti, which is not found even today. It is uprooted, the whole temple got uprooted. So what happened was, actually you can see this is not a very clear photo, but this is a bridge, and you can see the water almost on the bridge. A lot of things actually changed after this. One major fallout was, as we could see, there were a lot of interesting places where people used to go every day. It was a part of daily routine life of the people. So even if those Peshwe era ghats were still there were 14 ghats from Shaniwarwada to Sangam. So even if those ghats had lost their earlier significance, but it was still a structure to visit every day for the people, just out of interest. It was a daily part of a routine, like, while going to office, somebody just goes to the temple, prays, worships and goes further. Or after coming from office with the family, you just take a stroll on the sides of the banks, something like that. So all these places got the first brunt of it because they were just on the bank, and most of the places just got wiped out of the map. And main thing is, the whole devastation was in the residential area. So the major, you can say, priority of further development was in the residential area, obviously. and these places never got rebuilt again. As somehow people moved away with the fear that something similar might happen again. So they started moving away from the river, and you see that broke that connectedness which was still there till that era, and it further got disconnected further more and more as the population increased and things like that. Um, one of the another major fallout or another lesson to learn from that was, these dams got emptied just within one day, uh, which was the water reserve for the whole city for the whole year. But there was not a single news of any water shortage in the city for the whole next year. What could be the reason?
Other times?
Huh?
Other times?
No, there was no connected dam to that.
Okay.
But you see, we had a diversified water resources live even during that time. Just like that aqueduct system, all those wells in every this thing. Then there were feeder streams which were clean, and the water from that was useful to the city. So the water shortage issue never occurred in spite of the dams giving away all the water. And that is also a lesson to be learned, that okay, today we are having much better technology in civil engineering and all. The dams will not break. Let us hope so.
Yeah.
But today we are in the age of climate change. So the monsoon can fail. And even if you have dams, if there is no reserve, this situation can occur again. So that time, is this the water we can use? So that's why it is very essential that pollution is not only related to our health and well-being, but it is also related to our water security. If we have a usable, unpolluted water, it is our reserve, it is our backup plan in case of any calamity like this, or the nature's vagaries which we can expect more and more.
Right.
So we'll just walk till the end, and that will be our last stop.